What's going on, guys? Tony Vego here, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. This episode, right now, we're just going to talk around camp, basically. Because, well, I don't have a lot of recording space, and I do not want to start a tree that cannot finish in the same day of recording. Alistair.
Something on your mind?
I have some questions.
Of course.
Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
I thought Templars wore heavy plate mostly.
That's just in public. In private, we have these yellow and purple tunics, right? Much more comfortable, and you don't break the beds when you jump on them during a pillow fight.
You had lots of pillow fights, I take it.
Pillow fights? I mean, no, of course not. I meant sword fights. With rusty swords, dripping with acid. The kind that puts hair on your chest. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
I do really want to know, yes.
Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. It's not like we have anything better to do, right? The truth of the matter is, I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I determined to be better. But I took some solace in training myself. I was actually quite good at it.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, about that. Just checking out something. I think I understand.
Using the abilities I have came after years of education and discipline that was difficult to achieve, if rewarding. Sword training and religious doctrine all came later. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Orzammar is my home. I miss it.
But it's not your home anymore, right? You can never go back for good. I think I understand how you feel. We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Although that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
That's assuming we even survive.
You're right. Best to concentrate on what we have to do right now.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all I'm gonna know for now. Aliana.
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
What's on your mind?
Why did you just decide to come to Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais and did not set foot in Ferelden until much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
Why did she leave Ferelden then?
She had served Cecily, the Lady Cecily, for many years and was loyal to her. Cecily was a good person. She was always kind to me. Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
Do you remember nothing of your mother?
Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dry flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andrastis Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on.
Didn't like that. Okay, finally. Sten of the Barasad. The vanguard
You
of the
are not
Kunari
quite
people.
as callow as I thought.
Thanks.
That is unexpected.
Thanks, I guess.
You're welcome.
Why'd you come to Ferelden?
I was sent to be the eyes of the Anton. The Arishok asked, "What is the Blight?" By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arishok?
The one who commands the Anton, the body of the Kunari.
Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Don't you have a report to get
Yes.
back then? When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
God. Let's go on.
As you wish.
Sten +4. Yay, Sten loves me. Morrigan. Hello, Morrigan. How are you?
I await your command.
So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
And that sounds wonderful.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which
Come
I
on.
had never
Whatever,
before
guys.
seen. I was dazzled.
Sorry about that, guys. I just went down for my breakfast. I was hungry. And my bacon was cooked anyway. So, let's see. So, what happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
I have a hard time picturing you heartbroken.
That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
They made you stronger, didn't they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
+5. Well, you know, I'm gonna speak to Morgan again.
I await your command.
Of course you do. I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Did you grow up in the Kokari Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
You can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon then while I jump for joy.
Oh.
What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
I have a hard time picturing that.
I am no primitive, painted in blood and unable to speak the language. Flemeth knows much of your world and taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch at the
travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
I'm supposed to be surprised you're a good liar.
I do not know how well I lie, but I will do whatever I must in order to survive. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, it is not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Touching, like a handshake.
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way at
Yes?
least.
Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat in the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
I love Morgan. Morgan.
Tis cold
Oh.
in my tent, all alone.
Oh, can't have that.
So you shall come to my tent? But whatever shall we do in that tiny little space together while we wait for it to warm?
I'll leave that up to you.
Good. Then let us waste no more time with foolish talk.
I'm not calling you a liar. Jesus Christ, Dwarfy. Well, I'm gonna cut. Come in! I'm gonna cut the video off here, guys. So, as always, thanks for watching. Peace soon next. Thanks for watching, guys.